the other, this is part 2, right, of the 1-3 vlog about Zoe. The other cool thing, so I had that cool moment with her yesterday. Today I had a great session in the round pen, and I was timing it. I was in that round pen for 25 minutes, and some of that was talking to Mike. So I did not spend a lot of time. Somebody made kind of, I've had a couple people kind of make comments like I was working with her too much, just kind of the impression. And I'm like, I don't know. I think if you've noticed, I've changed the way I'm working with her, in that I'm giving her 2 shorter sessions a lot of the time. But she's really made a lot of progress in the last 2 weeks, and I've worked through some stuff that was kind of sticky 3 weeks ago. So I'm thinking, and honestly, as important as all that mechanical stuff is, she feels different. That's the biggest thing to me, is that my connection to her is so much better than it was a couple weeks ago. It's better than it was 4 days ago. And I think it's those extra couple 15-minute sessions, and I've changed up some other stuff. So, anyway, I had this short little session in the round pen, and then I talked to Mike for a couple minutes, and then we decided we were going to go for a walk. Our walk, as typical Camelot walks go, there was a loose horse. Zoe couldn't have handled that better. In fact, she did not move other than when I asked her to. She kind of watched. It helped that he wasn't moving very fast. She just didn't, no worry. I mean, she could have gotten all invested in it. If he'd been running, she might have gotten all invested in it, but she was very close. She was actually the closest horse to him, because he slipped through a gate. We were near the gate. So anyway, she handled that so good. I was so proud of her. And I did decide to stand there and wait it out. I knew the horse wouldn't be hard to catch. And I knew the person was going to go catch him real quick. And so I was like, I'm just gonna stand right here, because what I knew was, based on where I was, if I moved, I was gonna be in a worse position physically to help her through that horse coming back to his stall. And I also know that horse enough to know that he's probably gonna get a little silly as soon as he got turned back into his stall. So, which he did. So I just hung out. I just was like, let's make this not a big deal, and let's not ask anything Let's not ask anything of her while there's a loose horse. That's dumb. Whereas somebody else might have been like, oh, problem solved, and kept on wandering around. I did not do that, and I was very strategic about that. And so anyway, she was great. That slowed our walk down. I think I restarted my timer. I adjusted my timer because I'd been standing there for 5 minutes or something. And then I kept going for my walk. We went for a little walk. I bet she went for the longest walk of any horse. Actually, Wyatt went for quite a little ways today too. But she went for a little walk, and she was super. And I was like, okay. And then I could kind of feel this little moment where, like mentally, or maybe her attention span had drifted off, and I was like, okay, time to go back, because that's something I've been working with too, is that she doesn't need to stay up past when her egg timer kind of goes off. That's not going to help her any. So took her back, put her in her stall, put her away. I just had a great, if there was a thesis to this video, Zoe was great today. I'm super stoked with how she's doing. I hope this week, it's raining right now, I hope this week those patterns continue. I do think it's interesting that I've had a couple people, well, really only one person mention it, but I bet there's 2 people who are like, you're working with her too much. And I'm like, I don't know. I talked to the horse trainer, and the horse trainer was like, basically the way I'm doing it, it'd be different if I was in the round pen for an hour twice a day, or an hour even the whole day. I might have had one day where I had to do that because of the way she was feeling. I was getting through some big stuff. But one day in 6 weeks, that's not that many. I think there might be a difference, though, between, I don't want her to go any further in her life than she has to, carrying around those feelings of anxiety and resentment. I would like to get those out now while they are small and yearling sized, and not 4 years from now when she's had time to hang on to all that. So I'm not going to, because here's the thing, from the yearlings I've been around, other than her sister, she leads better than any yearling I've ever handled. And Austin did have a couple, his yearlings led pretty well too, but they had they did pretty good, okay? So other than those handful of yearlings, this one leads the best. She's already gotten the hint that smushing over the top of you isn't a great idea. Now, once in a while it falls apart. Sure, she's not 100% consistent. She's a year and a half old. But my point is that taking care of that emotional stuff for her now while it's tiny is really going to help her out in the long run. And the thing is that her sister got all this too. Now her sister has the opportunity of living in a pasture, so maybe she didn't need to get worked with every day, whereas I know what's going to happen with Zoe if I don't. Well, one, I need to get her through a couple of these things. I didn't want her to leave some of the mushing in there any longer than it was. That's not going to serve her long term, or me, because I could get somebody hurt. But secondly, she just sorry, I was thinking about lunch for a second. I think she needs the stimulation, and I actually think that has been a big change for her in the last couple weeks, because she has just enough understanding to not be as frustrated as she was previously. She has a better understanding of the halter rope than a lot of adult horses ever have. She has a better understanding and better feel about that already. I'll have to say she's probably at the end of the line. The only horse I've ever felt that has that nice of a feel at the end of the line is Slicker. Which, actually, now that I say that, she actually kind of does remind me of Slicker. So it probably shouldn't be surprising that I picked one out that's a little bit, even to the extent that he's kind of like a shark in the pasture. So that's what his nickname was when he went to Wine Cup. I just think that the extra little bit, those extra 15 minutes at the end of the day, where you come back to her, is good mental stimulation. And then the fact that I got rid of a brace or something in there, because this little spot where she wants to brace up is like this big, instead of being, it's so much smaller than it was a week ago even, and it's because I've been working on it just a little bit, and I'm not drilling her. I will get her, I will carry on with something until I think she's gotten through with it, but then once I know she got through it, I'm done, I'm out of there. In fact, I don't even tend not to make her repeat things. I might have Wyatt do it 2 or 3 more times. With her, I'm like, good job, kid, let's go. Let's go do some other thing. And that's why, I think maybe that's why, one reason why it might look like I'm doing so much, because somebody actually said that, I'm doing a lot of things. And I was like, dude, she's thriving with a lot of things. And maybe that's something that's different for her compared to the horses she's been working with. Zoe's pretty smart, and she's pretty sensitive, and she's pretty bold, and this other person's used to working with a little slower minded type horses, confident but a little slower minded, whereas Zoe, I think, she's in there thinking about shit all the time, and it's probably about food, but I've watched her in her stall, and she's calm in her stall, but she'll be over there. You can tell she's thinking about something, and that horse knows who I am. You can see her stall. There's one part of her stall you can see you can see 2 parts of her stall from Wyatt's pen. And when I put Wyatt away, she sees me and she looks at me. Today she nickered at me, and it's a pretty good distance between Wyatt's stall and her stall. She probably just wanted food. But point being is, she has already in 6 weeks figured out that I'm the good deal, and to keep track of me the same way Wyatt keeps track of me everywhere I go to. Anyway, I think I lost the plot somewhere in there, but super great day with my little baby horse.